Hey everybody, welcome to Dad's Den of Pop Culture. And today we're taking another look at van life in Toyland, if you will. I recently came into possession of, well, a couple actually, to add to my collection. But what we're looking at right here is the Charlie's Angels van. Hasbro, it went with their Charlie's Angels line. Fun to say. Of which I don't have any. I don't have any of those figures. I've thought about looking at some of the more recent Mego figures to go with this, but what I do have to sort of show off the van is Mego's Dinah Mite, which actually, size-wise, works pretty good with the van. Let's get this other light on. There we go. Add a little bit more light to it. So what do we got? Look, we're in the 1970s, man. Vans were the thing. Was there ever a Charlie's Angels van in the show? No. I mean, there might have been one that showed up, but that was not like a major part of what the Angels did or used. But it was a big part of toys and play sets at the time. Now, the Charlie's Angels van, interesting, plastic, of course. Fair amount of cardboard involved in the construction. The wheels, for example, that's just cardboard. The dashboard inside, which we'll take a look at when I get this thing opened. Ooh, there we go. So it has this gull wing design. So we have, for example, this instrument panel is cardboard. You can get a somewhat better look of the, whoopsie daisy, of the, you can get a better look of the dashboard there. Also just cardboard. And you can see through here, we got this cardboard paneling. Cardboard for the door paneling. We got the same thing over here. What's that? Oh, you can't see that well. What's that little device right there? Can you tell? That's a hand crank for windows that aren't actually there. But anyways, that's hand crank. Remember hand cranks for that kind of stuff? Remember when you had to lock doors manually? It was an amazing time. I also noticed a little pouch down here where there looks to be, and I don't see it now, I gotta maybe angle it a little different. Man, it's hard to see, but there's a pouch with what looks like a map in it. And yeah, we did that back in the day too. Now, let's look at the other side, and I'll show you the other kind of cool thing that comes with this van. Because you've already seen what happens. You move it a little bit, and all of a sudden, one of these things snaps down on you. We got a couch. Looks like maybe we have Charlie's Angels on TV. Let's see if I can angle this down. You have, and again, this is just cardboard, but you have the suggestion of Shag carpeting. You just don't get more 70s than that. Now, will Dinah Mite fit inside this little van? Let's find out. Because I think she probably will fit very nicely. And there we go. So we can put Dinah in here, showing off her new van until the Angels show up and take it away from her. Now, you'll notice these two little diddy bops here. This thing comes with, boy, I was lucky that these were here. It comes with these little rods that essentially can hold that up. Now, getting these things in is a royal pain in the Badinsky. There we go. But it does hold them up, so if you're doing some playtime. Now, this is Hasbro. Obviously, they saw this as an opportunity to compete with Mattel's Barbie because, boy, getting a piece of the Barbie money was a big deal back in the day. And I don't think anybody ever really successfully managed it. And I don't believe this toy line did either. The scale is different than Barbie, which to me always a problem, because a big part of the Barbies, especially back in the 70s and 80s, was in the clothing. The clothing was a really big part of it. And if you're working at a different scale, your toys, your dolls can't wear the same outfits. If you are, well, even if you're not selling your dolls, you could be selling some of the clothes that go with them that would fit on Barbies. I don't believe Charlie's Angels worked in that way. And overall, I don't think Charlie's Angels quite made the grade. But this is a great toy, a great item. Vans, again, even if Vans didn't show up an awful lot in an actual show, they were great for toys because they let's put somebody else in here since I have them sitting around. There we go. Let the Incredible Hulk hang out too. There's a reason he's over here, believe me. It's there's always a method behind my madness. These were great though because of the size. You obviously had the Barbie cars, and she had some great cars, no doubt about that. But with the Vans, you can put a lot of the toys in them. They're bigger, they're chunkier, they're easier to move around. You know, you could do a lot more with them. And you can imagine, you know, setting this up and then having the Charlie's Angels, and maybe, because again, they're going to try to sell these primarily to girls, right? And while there's going to be some girls who are going to play with the Charlie's Angels, having mysteries and all that other stuff, they're also going to probably do stuff like, yeah, they have a cookout with some of the Barbie dolls or something, or, you know, so you kind of have this cool little recreational vehicle here that can handle some of those other things. Barbie obviously had a similar kind of camper. So there's a little bit of both going into that. Now, the 70s was this unbelievable time for Vans. It was when Vans kind of took over America, and a lot of toy lines got their version of the Vans. Now, and this is why Hulk was sitting here. Here is the Hulk van from Imperial Plastics. Now, they did a few different vans. Let's pull Hulk out of here for the moment. Straighten his leg. You don't know how the terror that went through me when I was bending Hulk's legs, because that is an original Mego, and it's in pretty good shape, but I'd hate to destroy it. Let's put the panel down here, because we're going to do a quick review of some of the other toy vans that were on the market. So we have Imperial, and we're going to look at a couple of Imperial vans here in just a moment. They also did this Volkswagen camper with all the hippie stickers. Again, the same basic design. They use the same design for all of these. Now, this was supposed to be useful for like Barbie and Skipper and all those. Now, those are 12-inch dolls. The Hulk and Spider-Man and Chips vans that Imperial did would have clearly been meant for Mego dolls, because that's who was producing those lines primarily. They're 8-inch. Now, I found that the Imperial van I had worked really, really well with the 9-inch superhero action figures that were produced back in like the 90s and maybe early 2000s. I don't know how well the 12-inch doll would work in one of those vans, but apparently that was in the mix. And I'm a big fan of VWs, and they do call this a Volkswagen camper, obviously. Batman Mobile Bat Lab from Mego. I would love to get one of those at some point. Don't have one yet. Look at the Bang Pow Zap stickers on the side of that thing. And here we see from the MegoMuseum.com, there's the van in action capturing the Riddler, but we also have the Joker van, which is a thing of beauty. And those look far more like the VW bus from back in those days than the Imperial ones do. Of course, Big Jim had the sports camper with a boat, and that is, I think, essentially the same design used for that Mattel used for their Barbie camper. Different stickers, but it's I think identical otherwise. Even Star Wars had a van, although that's not sized for any of these figures to ever get into. So if you had a 70s toy line going, you had to get a van. Van life was key to these things. And apparently kids wanted them and kids got them. So the Charlie's Angels van, I could not resist this design, the colors. I'm a big fan of, man, design from the 1920s all the way through the 1980s. Many different genres there. I love them all. And I love this one. So I could not resist getting this thing. I didn't even know they made such a thing once upon a time. And it popped up in a auction on Goodwill. So I could not say no. So let's move that van out of the way here. Now this beauty has shown up on this channel before. And when I say beauty, yeah, it's a little bit tongue-in-cheek. Dad didn't help too much with the stickers on the Spider-Man Mobile Crime Lab. And you notice Mobile Crime Lab, Mobile Bat Lab, they were definitely going for the same thing there. It was too cool not to get. I had also bid on the Incredible Hulk van. It was up for auction at the same time. Now it's missing bumpers, and I knew this thing was not in the greatest shape. It is missing the top, but I couldn't resist it. Now, the one that I had gotten was missing one of its wheels. In fact, I think it was this wheel, maybe the other side, but it was missing the wheels. I did buy some new ones, very easy to pop those in. So replacement wheels, which I think they said were from a Hulk van, but they work just fine here. And there we go. Now, again, these worked really, really well with the 9-inch figures, which I don't know if this will work. I'm going to probably regret this, but you can see some of those 9-inch figures in the background there, including right in the middle Spider-Man. Works really, really nicely with those. There we go. That's about right. And at some point, I'm going to build in some shelving that I could actually show these off and probably put Spidey and like the Spider-Man villains around this one. It would have been a little bit big for Mego, I think, but you could work. You do have the door slide open a little bit, but if we look inside, you have your seating up front, and then you have sort of these couch seating in the back. And these did come with a lot of accessories. I do not have those. I'll probably pick them up, maybe one or two. Now, Imperial also did a Bat helicopter, which is honestly way better than the one that Mego did. They did a Spider-Man helicopter. I don't think Hulk got a helicopter, nor should Hulk ever have a helicopter. So this one I've showed off on this channel before. I fixed the wheel. It's in a little bit of rough shape, but I couldn't resist it because it was so goofy. Spider-Man driving around New York City in his van with his picture on the side of it. Then I discovered one of the other vans that Imperial did, and I could not resist. I am a dyed-in-the-wool fan of CHiPs. And just as insane, you'd love to picture Ponch and John cruising around Los Angeles in a van with their pictures on it. I don't know, maybe Estrada could have pulled that off with his picture on the side, But you'll see, this one I think Dad helped with the stickers. It is in better shape. We don't have the bumper down here, but we have the stickers for Highway Patrol. We got the CHiPs Highway Patrol badge on the top. We do have the top on this one. Now the interior is in black, but it is exactly the same. And there we have John on the other side with a little fake siren. So I think Dad helped out, and we do have the front grille assembly on this one. It was in pretty darn good shape, very clean. In fact, I don't think I've cleaned this one at all, but we do see the top comes off to make it easier. Now, I think the top is supposed to pivot better. Oh, there we go. Not that well. It does sort of work, but it doesn't work really well. It's probably, well, maybe I just need to push it up a little bit. Anyhow, same basic design, different colors, different stickers, but equally insane. I just love these things. Got the steering wheel there. I don't have any of the Mego CHiPs figures. I want to get them at some point because I was such a fan. And believe me, I was a fan. I had a CHiPs playset that, like a helmet and stuff that you could attach to your bike, so you could ride around your neighborhood, making sure all the neighbors knew that that kid is not quite right. But I didn't care. I was in love with CHiPs, and I still am. These vans are such a time capsule of the 1970s, when van culture was so big and so important and everywhere. And so that translated into the toys that kids played with. And again, you could definitely picture a kid being able to sort of hold on to this thing with his hands and, you know, roll it down the hall really fast with the characters in it and just have a ball. Did it matter that they didn't have vans like this on CHiPs, that Spider-Man didn't have a van? No, it didn't matter at all, because the point of the whole thing was playtime and having fun. So here we go. Two of the great shows from the 70s and into the 80s. CHiPs and Charlie's Angels with their vans, with a special guest appearance by Spider-Man and, of course, the Incredible Hulk. Look at the camera, Hulk. There we go. You going to stand up? God bless you. Just wanted to share these with everybody. I think they're fantastic. I love the design, and I love the Gullwing design on the Charlie's Angels van. Very cool concept. You get the triangular windows, too. Let's put that back up a little bit. One more look inside. Of course, Hulk is amazed at that shag carpeting. He's in love, and it just blew him away. Just knocked him over with passion. Okay, folks, I think that'll do it for this one. A little look into toy vans of the 1970s and how they interacted with properties. They are absolutely gonzo. They're bonkers. They're beautiful. That's exactly what I'm looking for when I'm looking for things to collect. There's nostalgia, but I love toy lines that just were a little bit nuts and didn't quite make sense. So what do you think? If you have any comments about the Charlie's Angels van, about the CHiPs van, about Spider-Man, about any of it, about van life from the 70s, let me know. My family, we have a 1973 VW bus, a very rare automatic transmission. It is still running, more or less. My dad still owns it. I got to drive it a few weeks ago for the first time ever. It's, in fact, the van that I was brought home from the hospital in when I was first born. Still got it, original paint. And boy, we took that van on summer vacations back, to visit family several times. That van was a big part of my young life, and maybe vans were a big part of your young life, hopefully in a good way. So let me know in the comments if you have any memories of that stuff. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to chat with you. Let's make it fun. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. Maybe think about subscribing. maybe think about sharing with a friend if you think you know somebody who would enjoy. Who do we got down there? Let's have the spirit of the Fonz. Since we're doing the 1970s, we're doing the 1970s here. You can't do the 70s without the Fonz. He's giving it the thumbs up. Can't you find it in your heart to give me a thumbs up on this video? I'd really appreciate it. But until next time, God bless everybody. Be kind to one another. Try to have a little bit of fun out there. And I'll see you hopefully soon, again, in Dad's Den of Pop Culture. Bye-bye. Whoa. Okay, that was close. Bye-bye, everybody.